All right, what's up guys? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some great topics for you guys. Before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. And of course, sorry for any bad audio or background noise that I do have using a different setup here. But let's go ahead and get right into this. And we're starting off with a brand new Nintendo Switch RPG from Square Enix. This game's also going to be on PlayStation 4 and also the PC. So publisher Square Enix and developer Cattle Call have announced a new dungeon exploration RPG called Dungeon Encounters. Nice, simple, and to the point, right? And it's coming out this October. So Dungeon Encounters is produced by Hiroki Kaito and directed by Hiroyuki Ito and features character designs from Ryoma Ito and music direction from Nobuo Uematsu. So this is definitely a heavy on the Final Fantasy type of development here because all of these guys have worked with Final Fantasy, so it's good to see. So here's a little bit of an overview of the game according to Square Enix. Now this is directed of course by Final Fantasy series veteran Hiroyuki Ito and produced by Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age's Hiroki Kaito. Dungeon Encounters challenges players to test their strategic skills with 100 levels of thought-provoking challenges using 2D grid-based movements. Players are invited to lead an expedition charting the depths of an otherworldly labyrinth. Plan and prepare to overcome numerous obstacles, battles, and defeat monsters in a bid to outwit the formidable game system and reach the deepest level of the dungeon. Strategize to survive. So once again, this is one of those old school type of games that Square Enix is investing in, not necessarily the biggest budget out there, but kind of like the Voice of Cards game, getting these developers to kind of make some of these smaller side projects in between the bigger games. And I like it. I love the old school feel and flow of this game. That's the reason why I wanted to talk about it. Now, there is a little bit more that I wanted to discuss with this game that Square Enix had to say. Players can enjoy a newly polished and refined iteration of Final Fantasy's classic active time battle ATB system brought to you by original creator Hiroyuki Ito. Dungeon Encounters features an expansive range of fantasy-inspired characters by character designer Ryoma Ito, offering players a unique take on the dungeon crawler genre and the ability to customize their team in order to complete the challenges and obstacles effectively. Fans can also enjoy a soundtrack overseen by musical genius, they didn't say that, but I added that in, director Nobuo Uematsu, featuring a modern take on classical tracks as they put their minds to the test and venture through the many levels of dungeon encounters. So you guys are checking out hopefully the trailer here. There's Japanese and English. This was at the Tokyo Game Show, and it's really cool to see a new RPG from Square Enix and them invest in some of these smaller side projects, but also big on the gameplay, big on kind of bringing back some of the older elements and enticing fans in that way. I love the nostalgia trip that they're bringing back with the music and kind of what they're doing. I love the ATB system, bringing that into the fray here with a different style of game. So love it what Square Enix is doing so far, what we've seen from the Nintendo Direct with Voice of Cards, now also with Dungeon Encounters. Very simple, quick to the point, but lots of depth type of games on classics, kind of revisiting pen and paper or the old school dungeon crawler RPGs. So good stuff here. Good to see more announcements, and of course good to see Square Enix supporting the Nintendo Switch as well with these type of games. So what are your thoughts on Dungeon Encounters that's coming out on October 15th? That is the release date for this game, October 15th. That is this year out of nowhere. So what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we've got a big one when it comes to the rebirth, the revitalization, the resurrection of Konami. Could we be seeing this? Well, according to a new VGC report, Konami is set to revive Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill as they get back into the high quality game development swing of things. Now, this is according to an anonymous source at VGC that spoke to them about it. And they discussed on here how there's going to be a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 and Virtuos that could be involved. And Virtuos, they're developers, you guys know them. They've worked on a lot of Switch ports, BioShock, and also the Outer Worlds. There's just all sorts of stuff that they've done on the Nintendo Switch, from Japanese game development to Western game development, or games more like it. So Virtuos, very talented. So maybe there's something in there with the Nintendo Switch. But the big thing from this here is there's also going to be a reimagining of the Castlevania series. So they're going to be bringing back Castlevania, and it's going to be a reimagining of the classic. So don't expect the typical 2D side scroller. It seems like they're going to kind of take maybe what some of the modern action games have done, maybe even with what the Soul series has done in terms of 3D action, and combine it with their own classic roots of Castlevania. Now, that's just a little bit of speculation on my part based on what they're saying here in the article, but it looks pretty good though. Like, it looks pretty good in terms of the thought process, in terms of what they're doing. And if they're working with Virtuos on this, now Virtuos, once again, very talented studio. They've done all sorts of stuff, and it's not just the Switch. They've helped out too, and provided support to other games, so stuff like Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Battlefield 1. So Virtuo's very talented studio, so that would be interesting if they decided to do that. And of course, Konami with this report is also talking about remasters of the original Metal Gear Solid games for modern consoles as well. So I think that'd be interesting. Now, there's one, I would say, a little bit of controversy with this. People are saying, why don't they remaster or remake Metal Gear Solid 1 first over Metal Gear Solid 3? That's a little bit of a debate, but if you've played the Metal Gear Solid series, you know that Metal Gear Solid 3 chronologically is the first game in the whole series. So if they remade 3 first, there's nothing wrong with that, considering 3 is the actual first game in the whole timeline and in the series. So that would make sense to me, to remaster Metal Gear Solid 3 and put that out there first, and then if you want to go with the other games or want to do remasters of the other ones, or whatever the case is, you follow suit. But remastering Metal Gear Solid 3 would be the right call. That would be the right take in terms of how it works from a story standpoint. Now, we know that Konami did pull out of E3 this past year, E3 2021, because of a timing issue. Maybe they were thinking about saying, hey, here we go with these games and everything. So we'll see. Silent Hill's been a long rumored kind of joke on the Spawncast where we've talked about that. I'm not as big of a fan of Silent Hill, but that apparently is going to be coming back as well. I'm kind of more excited about what they're going to be doing with Castlevania and where that could lead to. I've been playing the excellent Castlevania Advance Collection, and I love that game. I think it's very good, and I think that the mechanics that they use within the Castlevania series can still translate today, even if you're going to use in a 3D game. Heck, Lords of Shadow, which is kind of like classic Castlevania in some respects, but even that game was really good. Obviously, Lords of Shadow 2, not so great, but there was turmoil with that game. But I loved Lords of Shadow 1. So if they were able to take what they learned from Lords of Shadow 1, if they're able to take what they learned from some of the best Castlevania games, you know, when it comes to like Dawn of Sorrow, Area of Sorrow, when it comes to Symphony of the Night, when it comes to Rondo of Blood, take those expertise and take some of that stuff you learned from there and that flow and flavor and bring it to a modern sense with a little bit of the combat that you see in some of these games like Dark Souls or like Bayonetta or like games like that, modern 3D action games, whatever the case is. I think Castlevania could be a huge revival and hit for Konami, and we'll just see what happens. I'm excited about it. I've always been a fan of Konami's games ever since back on the NES, all the way through what they've been doing. So I would love to see Konami kind of have this resurrection and them to bring back some of these big franchises and get back into the swing of things when it comes to major game development. So we'll see what happens going forward in the future. So what are your thoughts on this potential Castlevania, Metal Gear, Silent Hill revival, Konami coming back? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys. We do have some Monster Hunter Rise news. We all know about the new Sunbreak massive expansion that's going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch in summer 2022. We know about the PC version of the game that supports 4K, 60 frames per second. They're asking about cross-play and also cross-save. There's a survey, so make sure you guys go out there and check out that survey. Just Google it. You'll be able to make sure you tell Capcom about that. But it seems like there is more interesting things in the works for Monster Hunter Rise, because they are teasing a collaboration of, yes, the Blue Blur, the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog, coming to Monster Hunter Rise in some way, shape, or form. Now, this was announced during a Monster Hunter 2021 TGS program that's been going on, and yeah, there's some cool collaborations. Also, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, the Capcom game that was out on Nintendo Switch first and came out to some other platforms as well, that's also going to be in there. You can use Arthur to kind of tear things up, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool about that. And there's some history with this because Sega has partnered with them before on Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, so there was a previous partnership on there, and it does seem like Sega is going to come into the fray with a Monster Hunter collaboration here with Sonic. So that would be pretty cool. I think that would be dope. And of course, with this whole Arthur thing that's going on, you have the throwing knives, you have the lances, you can see him in there. Obviously, it looks just like him on there. So he's doing his job there in terms of getting things done. Plus, there's going to be music from the Ghosts and Goblins as well, which that game does have some cool music as well. So we're gonna have to wait on the Sonic stuff because that's obviously what people are super excited about, you know, when it comes to the collaboration with Monster Hunter Rise. So we gotta wait on a date on that one. Capcom is saying that it will take a bit more time, but fans can look forward to it when it comes to information, release date, trailer, and all of that. So whenever it does happen, we'll definitely discuss it here. But overall, I'm hyped to see that Monster Hunter Rise is getting plenty of love, and of course the collaborations keep coming as they add in the PC version and also talk about the new DLC, the massive expansion that should really drastically improve the quality of Monster Hunter Rise. So what do you guys think about all the different topics that we discussed here today? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate that. Please make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.